Hey folks, and welcome to Dirty Dave's Garage. We got a 2001 Jeep Cherokee XJ. Got a bad headliner in it. We're going to be swapping that out. I'm going to go through the process with you, show you how I do it. Alright, to start out we're going to need a few tools. What I got here is an assortment, large to small Phillips screwdrivers. A couple ratchets, don't know if we're going to need those. I do have an air impact ratchet. I'm going to cheat taking the seat belts out. I've already got one out, but this is a Torx 50 star type bit, and I have it on an adapter so I can put it on the air ratchet, because the seat belt bolts, which I'm going to show you in a second here, are a real pain in the butt to get loose. They're underneath these little flaps. It's just rubber. You fold it down and you take those out. Like I said, I already got the one side. This is the only bolt you have to take out for the seat belts, one on each side. Then we're going to hit all the Phillips screws that you see. I'm going to show you how to get these handles off. You can see how the headliner's sagging. The previous owner tried to glue it up front and made a mess. I hope he didn't mess up the actual panel. I'm going to pop the lights out, take the visors off, and all the trim going around. You can see I've already got the back trim off here. There's just a few Phillips screws. Probably need to take this piece off as well. I've already got it off on the other side because I had some other repairs to do. I've got some of that trim already off, but I'll update you as we get some of these things out. When I hit something that looks difficult, I'll stop and I'll show you. Just a quick tip. What I do when I'm taking apart an interior, I try to get a box to put everything in so nothing gets lost. I actually have some exterior trim pieces in there too, but I'll put everything in that box, and I've got a plastic bag. You can see that I'm going to put all the hardware, screws, bolts, whatever, that I pull out as I go along so nothing gets misplaced. I could show you here the one handle that I did take off. These plastic pieces just lift up, and then you can get to the screws underneath. There's not much to it. There's just a screw under there, but these just pop loose. You can see they're holding on by a little tab. Don't break that tab, but that keeps you from, I guess, losing the actual trim to cover it up. But that's how those handles are going to come off. One more quick note, you'll notice on the seat belts they have a tab that goes up inside and kind of locks into place, so make sure you're careful pulling it out, putting it back in. That tab goes in the slot where it belongs. Hopefully you can see that. Alright, here's another quick tip. I'm going to try to show you a close-up of the handles, how to get these tabs off. If you just grab kind of the lip underneath and pull down on it, you'll see it starts to come loose, and then you should be able to pop it loose. And then there's a Phillips screw under there. That's all that holds them on. So grab it underneath, just pull it out. Okay, my mistake. This is actually, I don't know if you can see it. I'll try to get up close. This is actually another Torx bit, but it's a small one. You're going to need a couple Torx drivers, the big one for the seat belt and then the small one for the trim. I'll get that size for you in a second. Alright, so that screw in the handle actually uses a T25 star bit, Torx bit, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to use that to remove these in just a second. Alright, got another heads up for you. This back piece, once you get the screws out, you're going to notice it's not going to come out. However, once you loosen that handle and get the handle off, you should be able to take it off and both pieces come out all together. They are slid into each other, so be careful that you don't drop it. They do come apart. So we've got the left side done. The driver's side, just got to do the front. Alright, the front piece that's left, it just pops off. It's got clips, just gently pry it off until it comes loose. Probably don't have to even take it all the way out. I've got mine loose. I'm going to leave it like that. Just make it easier to put back. One less thing I got to keep track of. Next thing is the visors. And then we'll get the lights and the Jesus bar out from the passenger side. Okay, be careful when taking your visors out. Once you get the 3 Phillips screws out, there will be a wire. Pull it gently until the connector comes through the hole so you can disconnect the connector. It looks like you just squeeze it or put your thumb under it to unhook that little clip at the top and gently pull it off. I'm going to have to put the camera down because I can't do it with one hand. Just a reminder, don't forget the little hooks for your visors as well. There's one screw behind here you have to get out. Another Dirty Dave quick tip. Just to keep things straight, I don't want the screws all getting mixed up from the visors with the general hardware that I've taken off. I'm going to put a piece of this blue painter's masking tape over them and just tape them to the little mirror cover on the back of the visor so they don't get lost. There should be 3 screws plus the one in the hook for each visor. One more quick tip, I did put a mark with masking tape, a D for the driver's side. So I got my screws under here, got my little mounting hook under there for the visor, and my driver's side, all the hardware is complete. Alright, I wanted to show you the interior light. I've already pulled it out. There's not much to it. While I've got mine out, I'm going to probably take it apart and clean it. If you notice, there's a couple little knobs on both sides where my thumb is. See, one here, one here, one here. There's 2 screw holes. Mine was missing the screws, so I'm going to try to find some screws to mount it back in right, but I'm guessing you just pop this clear plastic piece off. I can see there's a tab here in the front. Maybe you can see it where you can pop a screwdriver under there and just pop it loose. I'm sure it lifts up in the front here by my thumb and then just pops out, slides out of the back. But I'll clean that out good. This electronic module, from my understanding, that's for the remote keyless entry. Mine's not working, so I may pop that out and try to replace it or see if I can figure out how to repair it. If I do, I'll put a video up for that as well. Alright, so a quick look around. Looks like we got everything loose. Still need to take the rear light out. I'll get that in a second, but trim is all loose. There's a few spots I'm going to be going around where you can see where it looks like there's something clamping down on the cover. I'm going to make sure that that's all loose before I pull it out or try to pull it out. When we get it out, I've got a couple sawhorses here. We're just going to lay it across the sawhorses, and then we'll be taking a brush, a stiff bristle brush, to clean the old glue off. Quick update, the rear light for the hatch just pops out. You can see it's got like some plastic clips that just grab a hole. When you slide it up in there, it pops back in place. But there is a connector. You're going to have to disconnect that connector and just pry this up and slide the connector out. Alright, one more quick update. The speakers in the back held in place by 2 T20 Torx star bits. So you're going to need another bit there to get the speakers out. Terminals are plug and play. There it is. A little worse for wear, but they still work. Get the other one out and be right back. All right. Once we got the speakers out, jiggled it a little, and it all seemed to come loose. So we're going to be hopefully sliding this out here in a second. Gently rocking it back and forth. Coming down, I just want to check and make sure that nothing comes up. Like we're doing okay. Keep gently rocking it back and forth. Try to keep it level. We don't want it to bend up. Let's go. Let's go up on the trim a little bit up front. I'm already noticing something I haven't noticed in other videos. That's these 2 foam bars. Actually, we're going to flip this over. This is the side we're concerned with anyway. We're going to be pulling off this old nasty material and then putting the new material on. Alright, so we'll just start at a corner up here. Falling off anyway. Just got to start peeling it away. I can see where the previous owner tried to glue this back on. I hope they haven't ruined it. It's pretty nasty. They obviously used the wrong kind of glue. Kind of melted the foam a bit. Not good. Trying to preserve as much of this board as I can so the new headliner will stick to it. Boy, they really boogered it up with this glue, whatever they used. So I'll gently keep pulling at it. There it is, the old nasty headliner. That goes into the trash. Now comes the fun part. See if this foam will come off. And it looks like it's going to come right off. So we're in luck. It's just a little fiberglass shell attached to it. Our new material will go right down over that. So just gently scrape, it rolls right off, it should. You can see, this is just a stiff plastic brush, don't need a metal brush. Just start scraping it. Yeah, it's gonna make a mess, so if you're somewhere you don't want a mess, you might want to put some plastic down. I'm in Dave's garage, where it's always a mess. When I'm done, I'm just gonna get the shop vac out and vacuum it up. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video till I get this all cleaned off. Don't want to bore you with that. We'll be back shortly. Alright, so we got her cleaned off pretty good. Had some problems up where the previous owner up front here had put rubber cement on. Don't ever use rubber cement to put a headliner in, people. But it didn't want to come off. Had to use some chemicals on it. Use some Goo Gone, and then I had to use some Prep Ball to get all the oil off from the Goo Gone so that when I put the new headliner down, the new glue will stick. So I'll probably wash it off again all over with the Prep Ball, wipe it down a bit, and maybe a little soap and water up front here where I had to put the Goo Gone down to get the rubber cement off. So it'll be a few days. I'm waiting for the headliner to show up, and we'll pick this back up when it gets here, and I got time to work on it. See you soon.